Hey guys, Adam here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you the #1 strategy to grow your online business. So, if you want to generate more leads, more clients, more customers, and more sales for your online business, you're going to want to stick around because this is the exact same strategy I've used in all of my online businesses for the last 10 years, as well as what I suggest all my clients and all my students do the same. So, let's get to it. Hey there, my name is Adam Erhart, marketing strategist, and welcome to the channel, the #1 place to learn proven marketing strategies to grow your business online. So if you're new here, you may want to consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you never miss a future episode. All right, let's talk marketing, and specifically the #1 marketing strategy you want to be using if you want to grow your online business. I've been involved in the online business world for the better part of 10 years now, and over that time, I've seen a whole lot of things, including grown a number of different, very profitable online businesses. I've also worked with and consulted and essentially seen behind the scenes of hundreds, if not thousands, of other online businesses as well. So I've seen what works and I've seen what doesn't. And that's why I can sit here today and confidently say that if you want to grow your online business, you're going to need a strategy that encompasses 3 different things. The 3 things that I'm going to be sharing with you right now. So first, those 3 things are traffic, conversion, and ascension. And next, I'm going to break down each one of those so you can see how to deploy it into your own business. Before we dive into the specifics of each one though, it's really important to know that each one is required, each one is mandatory, and you're not going to be able to grow your online business unless you have each element of traffic, of conversion, and of ascension in place and properly utilized. So make sure not to skip any points or to jump ahead without going through the right process. All right, so the very first piece of the puzzle is, of course, traffic. Now, traffic has to do with people, with eyeballs, and essentially with attention. You need to be able to answer the question, does everybody who could buy from your business know that you exist? And if the answer is no, then you've got some marketing to do. And specifically, we need to get you some more traffic. Now, in the online business world, traffic is clicks, it's visits to your website, it's essentially somebody engaging with your content or looking at your social media profile or anything like that. So the first thing you need to ask yourself when you're trying to grow your online business is, are you getting enough traffic? Are you getting enough visitors to your website? Are you getting enough people to engage with your content? Are you getting enough people to watch your videos or to comment on your posts or anything like that? If the answer is no, well, then you've got a traffic problem. But that's okay, because most businesses have a traffic problem. This is why the vast majority of pretty much all marketing really focuses on traffic. It focuses on getting more attention, on getting more leads, on getting more eyeballs, on getting more clicks, on getting that initial surge of people to your website and to your offers. Because without that, well, nothing else really matters. There's an expression that I love, which is, if you want to get people to pay, you need them to first pay attention, which is why traffic is all about generating attention. It's getting awareness. It's getting your stuff in front of the right people. And that's really the key. You see, it all starts with the right people. After all, I could give you 1,000,000 of the wrong people and it wouldn't do anything to grow your business. And yet, if I could give you just 100 or 1,000 or maybe even 10,000 of the right people, it would be a total game changer. This is why the first step is really identifying who your ideal target market is, that ideal customer avatar that you want to serve and that's best positioned to be served by your company and by your online business. So, who is your ideal target market? What are their demographic details, like their age and their gender and their income and their occupation? What's their geographic details, like what city and what state and what province or country do they live in? What are their psychographic details, like what are their values and their attitudes and their lifestyles and their opinions and what groups are they a part of? Once you've got that down, well, it's time to try to figure out where they spend their time online. Essentially, where they're active and where they're present online so that you can go there and pretty much ignore everything else. See, the reality is you don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to do everything. You just need to be active and present where your ideal target market is active and present. It's going to save you a ton of time and a ton of energy. So that's the big thing when it comes to talking about traffic. But there's a few more details that I want to make sure you understand as well, which is essentially the difference between search traffic and discovery traffic. Now, search traffic is very much what it sounds sounds like. It's traffic that's going to come to you through the use of some kind of a search engine, whether we're talking about Google or Yahoo or Bing or YouTube or any of the search platforms. These are places where somebody goes to the platform with a specific question or a specific problem in mind. They type in whatever they have, and then hopefully your website or your video or your page comes up. This is why SEO, or search engine optimization, is still a very valid and very real traffic strategy even today. The other kind of traffic you want to be leveraging and essentially implementing in your business is discovery traffic. Now, discovery traffic are platforms like Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube to a certain extent, where essentially someone's not necessarily searching for what you've got, but you're going to still have a way to get it directly in front of them through the use of some creative marketing strategies. So let's talk about those creative marketing strategies now, specifically the difference between paid strategies and organic strategies, or not paid. You see, when it comes to actually both search and discovery platforms, but we'll just talk about discovery here, well, you have an option to put your content directly in front of your ideal target market using paid advertising like Facebook ads or Instagram ads or YouTube ads or LinkedIn ads, or pretty much any of the advertising platforms. This is great because it allows you to laser focus in your message on directly who it is that you're trying to appeal to, which means you're able to generate as much traffic as you want simply by paying more money. Now, paid advertising is great, but it tends to stop when you stop paying for it. Makes sense? Which is why it's also great to have an organic strategy or a non-paid marketing strategy. Organic marketing is simply creating content and then hoping that it gets found by your market. Now, of course, there are things you can do to strategically position that content to be found. Things like making sure that it's relevant and relatable to your market, including relevant search terms or hashtags or things like that. The point of the matter is organic content is stuff we're not paying for, which is why it's typically good to have a nice mix of both. Now, when it comes to content marketing, you've got a lot of different ways that you can go here, but my biggest recommendation is you start with one kind of long form content. Essentially some kind of content that an ideal target market or an ideal customer would be willing and sort of interested in consuming for anywhere from 3 minutes all the way up to 30 minutes, and maybe even for up to a couple hours. The best forms of content for this are video and audio, specifically through a YouTube video or a podcast. I'd love to be able to talk about the benefits of long-form blogging and writing really long, in-depth articles, but the reality is they're just not getting the attention that they once did, which is why I really want to push you in the direction of more video or more audio content, and probably more video content, because you just have so much more flexibility there. All right, so that's enough talk about traffic. Now let's say that you are getting the attention and the eyeballs and the clicks to your website and to your videos and to your content. Well, the next step is all about conversion. You see, conversion is what happens after the click. If someone visits your website, someone visits your landing page, someone watches your video, well, what are they doing next? Or what are they not doing that you really wish they would? You see, it's one thing to be able to generate 100 clicks, or 1,000 clicks, or 1,000,000 clicks. It's another thing entirely to be able to take those clicks and to turn them into leads and into clients and into paying customers for your business. This is why one of my biggest pet peeves in the entire world of marketing is marketing that focuses on vanity metrics, things like likes, or comments, or shares, or subscribers, because the reality is you can't deposit likes in the bank. So, the first step here is to figure out what kind of conversion you want someone to take, whether it's a hard conversion or a soft conversion. Let me explain. A soft conversion is something like signing up for an email list, or downloading a lead magnet, or registering for a webinar, or something that typically doesn't involve a very high commitment. Typically, it doesn't involve any money at all. The point of a soft conversion is ultimately to warm them up, to nurture them, and to get them to the hard conversion later. And the hard conversion, of course, is some kind of sale. This is where you would come directly out and essentially say, I have this thing, you have this problem, give me money, and I will solve your problem. Of course, you make it a whole lot prettier than that, but that's the basics of it. Now, when it comes to different conversion tools, whether we're talking about soft offers or hard offers, you got a number of different choices, including things like lead magnets, or downloadable PDFs, or cheat sheets, or blueprints, or guides, or things like that. You've got webinars, or VSLs, which stands for video sales letters. Again, slightly higher level of commitment. commitment, also a whole lot more work to produce. Then of course you have sales pages, which are pretty much exactly what they sound like, a page designed to make a sale. Now, while there isn't a one-size-fits-all approach, like how you should always use a webinar, or always use a lead magnet, or always use a VSL, or anything like that, the reality is that the more expensive your offer, or the more commitment it's going to require, well, the deeper the level of conversion you're going to require. For example, if you just want someone to download a simple lead magnet so you can get their email, well, you probably don't need to put on a 1-hour webinar with all kinds of fancy sequences and hooks and things like that. On the other hand, if you're selling a multi-$1,000 consulting package, you're probably not going to just be able to send them to a simple post with a few simple words on it. No, you'll probably need to warm them up and ultimately have that lead to a phone call or some kind of person-to-person communication. The point is, you need to find and kind of reverse engineer the right conversion tool for you and for your business. But regardless of what kind of online business you have, or regardless of what price point you're selling, you're going to need some kind of conversion mechanism. All right, so now you've got traffic dialed in, you've got a conversion tool, well, it's time to move on to the third and another incredibly important piece, which is ascension. Essentially, once people opt in, once they make that initial purchase, once they sign up for your webinar or make that sale or whatever it is, what are they doing next? Or like I said before, what are they not doing next that you wish they would? If your entire business is built off transactional relationships, kind of one and done type of interactions, well, you don't have a lot of room for scale, and it's really hard to build a long-term sustainable, profitable business. This is why your marketing doesn't stop once the sale is made, or once the opt-in has been done, or once the webinar has been registered for. Rather, this is just the beginning, or I guess a new beginning. Now, ascension problems typically stem from one of three different issues, or all three if you're pretty unlucky. Problem number one is not having anything else to sell them. Again, this is that transactional relationship where you sell them something once and then they're pretty much good to go and you never see them again. Problem number two is not making what you do have to sell irresistible enough to them, or not positioning it in a way that gets them to take action, which is kind of a conversion problem, so we won't talk too much about that one. And problem number three is not staying top of mind once that initial opt-in or registration or sale has been made, so they forget about you. So let's talk about number one first, not having anything else to sell them. The question you want to be asking yourself all the time in your business is, what's next? What else could I possibly sell them? Or what else do my customers or my clients have problems with that I could be the one to help solve for them? For example, let's say that you sell running shoes. Well, could you also sell shoelaces, or shoe cleaner, or shoe insoles, or something to carry their shoes with? I guess that'd be called a shoe bag? A shoe carrier? Shoe backpack? Could you sell them courses on running or training for a 5K or a 10K or a half marathon or a full marathon? Could you sell them other health related things like nutrition for runners, or supplements, or energy drinks, or electrolytes, or protein powders, anything like that? The list is pretty much endless. The point here is you always want to be thinking, what's next? Or another way of putting it is, what else? All right, point number two is not making it irresistible enough, or not wrapping it up in a way that actually leads to conversions. So what other kind of conversion tool could you use? Could you send them to a different webinar? Could you offer a different lead magnet? Does it need a follow-up sales call or something like that? And then point number three is the one that I see all the time, which is simply not staying top of mind, or not having enough touch points or points of contact with your customers or with your clients after they make that initial sale or even that initial registration or opt-in. The reality is that in the world of marketing, out of sight is out of mind, which means they're going to forget that you exist, they're going to forget that you have all these other things to offer, and they're either not going to buy at all, or worse, they're going to buy from your competitors. There's another really crazy thing that happens to us as humans, which is that we associate frequency with trust, meaning the more that you can show up time and time again in front of your customers and in front of your clients, whether they're current clients or past clients or even potential clients, well, the more you can show up in front of them, the more they're going to trust you. Now, there's a number of different ways that you can increase touch points, but two of my absolute favorites by far are email marketing and retargeting. Email marketing because, well, people still check their email a lot. And retargeting, which is simply running paid advertising like Facebook ads or Instagram ads, but only to your existing customers. Well, the reason I like that is because it's just such an incredibly cost-effective way to stay top of mind and to stay in front of your customers for pennies on the dollar when compared to traditional advertising. But here's the thing. Whether we're talking about traffic or conversion or ascension, the single underlying element, the single guiding principle that makes all of this effective is having that proven marketing fundamentals, that proven marketing foundation in place that makes all of this work, which is why the next thing you're going to want to do is check out the video I have linked up right here on Introduction to Marketing. So make sure to check that out now, and I'll see you in the next episode. Marketing is a major business function that's made up of a bunch of other parts, one of which, of course, is advertising. But there's also a ton others like PR, market research,